Alright, today we are going to I'm going to introduce SketchUp, which is a great 3D modeling program, great for engineering, architecture, design. Um, when you open up SketchUp, if it asks you what kind of template you want to use, I'll be referring to inches and feet, not necessarily in the beginning tutorials, but later on. So I would recommend, if you're going to follow along, use the inches and feet template. Okay? So in SketchUp, this video is intended to be the very first video viewed if you've never used SketchUp before. You see these blue line, or these three lines. These are the axes. This is the x-axis, the green axis is the y-axis, and then the blue axis is the z-axis. You can hold down your scroll wheel, and you can zoom in. You can zoom out. Right? I'm just scrolling using my scroll wheel. If I hold my scroll wheel button, use it as a third button. If I hold that down, I'll get to orbit around by holding down my scroll wheel. That's the same thing as clicking right here, orbit. And if you hold down your scroll wheel and press the left click, you can pan like this. You'll see the hand, and that's panning. That's the same thing as clicking right here. Right? So you can zoom in and out, you can orbit, and you can also pan. Okay? This will kind of help us get set up. The first thing is first, let's go ahead and click on this lady and hit delete. And what I want you to do is, our objective today is we're going to learn how to create cylinders and cubes. We're going to learn how to rotate them and move them and use the push-pull tool, and also copy and paste. So, at any point in time, if you're working along with me, you can pause it and go at your own pace. Okay? So, click on the rectangle marquee tool, and I'm going to click and drag and make a two-dimensional, or a square, right? And then to make that a cube, we're going to use our push-pull tool right here, and then we're going to hold our cursor down and pull it up along the blue axis. And now if I orbit, I can see that I've created a cube. Okay? And you can push pull using this push pull tool and make the sides bigger or smaller, which is kind of nice. And you can kind of see the dimensions or the distance as well. And we'll get into that later on in SketchUp in future tutorials. Okay, now after you create one of these, I want you to click on the circle and drag, and you can see the radius down here. That's the radius, 1 foot 7 inches, or 3/16 inches. That's the radius of this circle. To turn this into a cylinder, you click on the push-pull tool, and you pull it up, right? And I pulled it up, 3 feet, almost 2 inches. Now, first thing is first, copy and pasting is very useful. So if you click right here, or you can just hit the space bar to get out of it, but you want to click on this, you want to be on this black arrow, the selection tool. If I triple click, right, it selects the whole object. If I just click once, you're only selecting that side or that line. So to select an entire object, you can rope it, or you can triple click, 1, 2, 3. And now to copy and paste, Control C, Control V. I want you to copy and paste, and I just did, or you can go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. But I just did the Control C, Control V. And I want you to copy and paste 3 cubes, and I also want you to highlight the cylinder, triple click, and hold down Control, press C, and then hold down Control and press V, and place it to the side. Alright, so that's copy and pasting, very useful. Now, moving. Okay, if I wanted to move something, I can triple click and select something. And what I can do is click on my move tool, which is right here, and I click on the move tool. But if I do this, I'm trying to move it on top of, my objective is to move it on top of this cube right here. If I just do that, you can see that it actually moves it back. It's not moving it up. And this is where the lines and the axes come into play. So what I want to do is I want to click once, and sometimes it works out where you can just drag it and it places it nice and neat on top. But I want to show you this method instead. If you click on it and move it up, you can see that this line is blue. That means you're moving it along the blue axis, which is you're moving it up, which is great. So now I've moved it up. Now I just need to move it over. And when I move it over, you should see this green line appear moving along the green axis. So I'm going to click again and move it, not right here, not right here, but along the green axis. You see how it turns green now? I'm going to move it along just like so. And then I'm going to triple click on this one, use the move tool, and I'm going to move it up. Oh, not back. That's moving it against the red axis. I want you to move it up along the blue axis, and then click, and then move it back along the green, and then you can see I've moved them all together. So go ahead and do that for the cylinders and for the cubes. I want you to move them up and then over so that they're all aligned. Okay, so once you get that, one thing I want to show you is you can use the push-pull, or you can use the rectangle and circle tools to put on objects as well. So if I make a rectangle right here, I can use the push-pull tool and I could push it in. And subsequently I can move it and adjust it as well, which is kind of nice. I can do the same thing, but instead of pulling it out, I can push it in. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get a cube and a circle, right? Push one in and, or pull one out and push one in, like so. And if you can see if I click on the push-pull tool, you can always adjust these at a later point in time, so that it's not permanent, which is kind of nice. Now, I want you to go ahead and create a, kind of looks like a door, just a long, narrow rectangle, like so. Don't make it too thick, or something like that. And what you're going to do is I want you to select the rectangle marquee tool. And what I'm going to show you is, just like here, we can pull it out or push it in. If you push it all the way through, it does that. What you can also do, though, and remember, Control Z will undo your last action. So hold down Control and press Z. You can keep on doing it a few times, which is really, really nice. If I make a square or a circle for that matter, and I click on my push-pull tool, if I push it all the way to where it says on face, it'll delete it, and it kind of creates a window. Another way of doing that is if you click on it once, another way of doing that is using your push-pull tool, you hold it down and you drag it to the end line where it says on edge, and then let go, and that'll take care of it as well. Okay, so go ahead and practice doing that, and make a circle and do the same thing, and cut it out as well to where it says on face, or you can drag it. I'm holding down the cursor, or you can drag it to where it says on edge, and it'll take it off like that. Okay. All right. The last thing that I want to show you guys is moving and rotating. Or sorry, not moving, rotating. So what I want you to do is I want you to triple click on this object, and let's just move it over to the side so that we have some leeway, and you can pan over so that this is kind of centered. And what I want you to do is click on your move tool right here, or your rotate tool, sorry, not move, we're rotating now. And you get your rotate tool here, and where you place it is heavily dependent on how it rotates. So if I wanted to just rotate it, like, let's say I place it in the middle, if I click once and attach it there and I click outside, I can rotate it like so. But that axis point determines the rotation, right? If I click right here and let go, look at how it rotates around that axis. Wherever you click, it's going to rotate around that point. Okay. Now, if you want to rotate it in a different manner, let's say you wanted to rotate it from the top, you click on the top, right, and you can rotate it like so. If you want to rotate it from here, from the side, you click on this side, and you can rotate it like that. So take a couple minutes, and I want you to practice on each side, just rotating it and kind of getting a feel for the difference in where you place your rotation point, right? There is a big difference in where and how you place it. Okay, so go ahead and rotate that and get accustomed to that. And now that will do it for our first tutorial. Today we created cubes and cylinders. We used the push-pull tool. We pushed out to create these open spaces. We moved them, and then we also learned how to rotate. Okay?